All right. DM James coming back at you after going to the dentist and getting my teeth cleaned. It went much quicker than I thought, and the dentist lady said that, well, the dental tech lady said that my teeth look good and that she could tell I've really been doing my brushing and stuff. So that's exciting. I think I'm going to put that out there just in case somebody wants to drop in. And not going to be streaming for a really long time. I still, like I said, I still got stuff that I need to do. But I gotta do some content every now and then, or people are going to be like, "Does that guy even, exist anymore or something?" And I'm going to be like, "Boo! I still exist." And then I'll sing that song, "Don't you forget about me. I'll be home dancing, you know it, baby." Right? I don't remember who even did that song, but I know it was kind of big back in the 80s and 90s. Na 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 na. Yeah. Boop. Yeah, it's a little chilly out here in Florida today. There's Crafty Gamer. It was like 44 degrees or something. I don't know if that's with wind chill or whatever. But the good news is I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. Because I can put my wool hat on. Oh, yeah, that's warm. Oh, man, that is a warm wool hat. So, since I'm calling this the painting stream, I'm going to paint one of these. Right? This is apparently a kind of taxi or something from Eberron, but I'm going to actually paint it up and use it for the actual real game. See, because the reality here is Eberron is basically the Wish version of Talislanta, right? It's like the guy who made Eberron, he read all the Talislanta books, obviously, and he thought about it a lot, and then he decided, yeah, I don't have the balls to actually go that far. So I'll just dumb everything down and we'll say it's another thing, right? And that might sound harsh, but that's what happened, right? Eberron is just, like I said, it's like the Wish brand of Tauslanta. Now, the good thing is Tauslanta does have flying skiffs like this, especially the Cimmerillions. So what I'm looking for is the wood grain that I had to do the wooden parts. And then I'm going to do the metallic, because, there you go. Not vitalic, metallic. And then after I do my metallics, is this my wood grain? No, that's Bag of Bones, which is good for painting camels because apparently camels are a light brown. So Bag of Bones or Desert, whatever, that works really good for camels. How would I know? Well, I've got an 8 camel unit of warriors that I can swap into my Persian army if I want. Because, why not? So, not seeing the wood grain up here. Got my chocolate brown. Sigor brown. A little bit darker than I like Sigor brown, but it would work. Wildwood. We'll use the Wildwood. Wildwood. If it needs to be, what's it, highlighted, it can be highlighted. Now, these guys unpainted, they're about $40 a piece. And I was a little disappointed when I opened the box to find out that the top is cardboard. Because it's like, really, dude? Really? You put cardboard on this thing? I mean, I guess it's not even glued down, so I guess I can remove it. Oh, it's just the same on either side. Huh. Okay. Probably set it aside then so that if I, slopping paint all over the place. Because this first bit, I'm going to be using a pretty big brush. There's no reason to try to be super whatever with it, right? Let me have a drink. But anyway, yeah, need to get my vacuuming done and everything. Mi madre and my brother will be here apparently tomorrow evening. Very exciting stuff because, Hunger and I are going to play so many games. Still waiting for Firelock Games to send me my box sets, though, It's like they sent me my box set with the schooner in it, or sloop, or whatever that is. But I'd ordered 3 of the Blackbeard versus Lieutenant Maynard boxes. One for a gift for my nephew. Oh, damn it. Well, he never watches these, so it don't matter. And then 2 for me. Why? Because that's what I do. Maybe I'm just a selfish, greedy soul, but that's what I did. And it says that 1 box has been processed. I don't know what that even means, but the 2 boxes I ordered have yet to be processed. And I'm wondering, it's like, are they putting them together like as we wait? Like as I'm sitting here waiting for the boxes to come in, are they like making them? If that's so, that's well, hurry up, boys, because Hunger ain't going to be down here forever, and we're going to have to learn new rules and everything, right? Hey, Cal. But anyway, yeah, this is definitely. I've been doing some looking around, right? And one thing I realized the other day, uh, because everybody's making characters, and of course, they're not picking the easiest characters either for me to. I mean, making characters in Taslanta is always easy, but anyway, there's how the wood's going on. It's actually looking really good. I'll use it on my frigate later, but I'll have to use a bigger brush because my frigate's like 2 feet long. I've got a 3D print light frigate. So it's not like, the warship type frigate, the one that had like 48 guns on it. This one's got like 12 guns. So, it's more of a coastal patrol ship. It's not an actual ship of the line. And if, like I said, Firelock Games ever gets off their ass and delivers my stuff, then I'll have 2 more of those to do. And then a bunch of pirates, which I won't need because I have the Oh, somebody's in the waiting room. I won't need because I have the English nationality starter set. So I won't need the plastics. But
I see
hey,
you're back.
huh?
I see you're back.
Yeah, the lady who was doing my teeth cleaning said that my teeth looked really good, and she could tell I've been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and
Oh, nice.
then it didn't take her very long at all to clean it. So good times for me.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you go to the dentist and they're like, "Shit's looking pretty good, bro." Actually, it was a little Filipino lady, but
Anyway, I've had some good news too.
what's that?
Our grandma came over and gave us some soup.
Some soup. What kind of soup?
I don't know, just some kind of soup. I
Just
haven't had
some
it yet.
soup. Okay, well, that is the weirdest thing I've heard in my entire life.
I haven't had it yet. It's in the
It's like I don't know
it's in the
what it
kitchen.
is. It's some kind of soup.
I didn't actually
It's
see it.
like, is it vegetable, chicken,
It's probably some kind of vegetable soup or something. I don't know.
pork? Oh, by the way, if you ever get to the part where like the hot, big-breasted Korean chick asks if you want to go out to lunch, the correct answer is mint pork soup.
Ah,
Now that to me sounds horrible, but apparently big-breasted Korean chicks love it.
mint
So
pork soup.
there you go. Yeah, I ended up doing every ending and a couple of the hidden endings.
Ah,
And no, the game is not in any way pornographic.
nope. That is.
So if you're playing the game hoping that you're going to get to see anything, you're not.
No,
The
it's a
the
little bit of a
racy,
tease with the big breasted one, but
the
other than that, it's
raciest
not.
that it gets is that Grand Dong or whatever her name is. The
Grand.
fact that she's just got the most giant boobies ever and is constantly wearing like the tightest shirt ever.
Yeah, and her stockings.
Oh yeah, stockings. The answer to that is
Black.
always get her black stockings,
Yeah.
unless she tells you otherwise, because she's your boss.
Yeah.
So there I can give you a lot of the answers for her. I figured that shit out, and that was the first one I ended up uh, getting married to.
Hmm.
Like, if she's kind of the default girl that you're supposed to marry, I think.
She's the default. I was surprised it's not your best friend, the childhood best friend.
Mouse Sook, no.
Hey,
But like I said,
maybe it's more of a
I
Japan.
did a lot of the endings, like the chick hiding out in the upstairs. Um, you can marry her, and you
Yeah.
know, and she's like the ultra shy, stay at home, really kind of what's it called? Like really obedient wife, if that's the thing you're into. Whereas Gran, Miss Stockings, she's a lot more of the uh, like aggressive wife. And in the end, she ends up bitching because you spend too much time at work. You know,
I bet if you weren't, she'd be bitching about you not being at work.
well, what ends up happening is spoilers. Um, the security guard is her dad.
Oh God. Well, that's interesting.
And he's only pretending to be the security guard because it's, as he says, an old man's hobby.
All things.
Yeah, he's the chairman of the whole company.
He's like the owner of it all, and he's just like pretending to be a security guard.
Yep.
I find
And
that
she
funny.
knows and never tells you.
Well, hey, fair enough.
But that's why she talks so much shit to the security guard, and you're all like, you should speak, nicer to your elders. It's because she's got like mad beef with her dad because her dad has tried to arrange a marriage for her
She has daddy issues.
and she ain't having it.
Yeah,
That's what it is. That's why she moved out of the house and everything.
I'm guessing that one dude that came up to you was the one that she had like that arranged marriage with.
Yeah, and when you get to that part, you pretend to be your boyfriend.
Yes, I know. I've done that.
And then she plays along with it, but then after her ex-boyfriend walks away, she punches you because that's the way she is.
Yeah.
But then after you figure everything out, you end up, having to go through like this whole thing with her dad, who calls you every name in the book. He talks about how you're not good looking and you're not really smart and you're kind of a fool, and how he's been watching you for the whole time you've been working there and he's not super impressed and blah. Like, he really goes nuts. And then he offers you like a big old envelope full of money to like just leave. And of course you don't. And then in the end, you keep saying you won't leave. And finally you call him chairman. He says, don't call me chairman anymore. And he says, call me father. At which point, big titty chick runs over and throws her arms around you, and she's all super happy. And then you get married, and you end up eventually inheriting the business from your father-in-law and having a hot big titty Korean chick as your wife.
I was about to say it sounds a lot like Khan's father from King of the Hill, but no, he never liked Khan.
Yeah. And the only downside to it is it says that you're happily married, except she's a bit frustrated that you spend so much time at work. So that's kind of that arc, that ending. Hey, how you doing, James Lowry?
well.
So yeah, I mean, that was a good one. The Inbay one wasn't really interesting. The girl in the attic, that one was weird.
I mean, that one's always going to be weird, I think, because just how she came to be. She's just always up in the attic.
Weird.
And you never
Like,
noticed
in
that?
the end, like if you choose her, like the two of you get married, right? And it shows her yelling for you from the bathroom, and you go, and she walks out, but of course they don't show anything.
Yeah.
But she walks out and drops the bath towel and asks if you'll dry her hair. And of course, you pick the bath towel up and you start drying her hair. Again, they don't show anything. And she talks about how much she loves it when you dry her hair. And that's basically about it.
Well, that's nice.
So, 5 Hearts Under One Roof. It's one of those weird Korean multiple choice.
I'm guessing that the whole, childhood best friend becoming the love interest is a Japanese thing.
Yeah, Mao Suk is Inbay's older sister, and I guess Mao Suk used to be your best friend.
Yeah, I mean, she does tend to be like your best friend the whole time, I think. Yeah,
but Inbay has been planning to marry you since she was 6. So it's kind of weird because the first time you meet her, you're like, oh, you're back in Korea. And she's like, yeah, I came back after I finished classes. She was going to college in America.
Yeah.
And you're all like, well, why are you back? And she's all like, I came back to marry you. So you would think that would be like the easiest ending, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, really?
Nope.
The one that's throwing herself at you is the hardest one up. Oh boy.
Not your Echo. We're talking about 5 Hearts Under One Roof. It's one of those weird Korean games where you're basically a loser, and through a bunch of random happenstance, you end up with like 4 really hot Korean chicks living in your
Actually, I think it's 5, wasn't it?
5, yeah. living in your house,
Yeah.
and then it makes you answer multiple choice questions in all these different situations. And if you answer them right, you eventually end up hooking up with one of them.
I don't think they're AI images. They're actual people. No,
But
bears,
it's not like a porn game or anything.
no,
There's none of that. It's just like, apparently, too, I looked it up, and apparently the people who play that game the most are like chicks.
women.
Which game we talking about? My Little Pony?
No, five hearts under
Five
one.
Hearts Under One Roof.
The hell's that?
That
It's a
weird
Korean
game.
romance game.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those games where there's like the different girls, and depending on how you answer questions, it
You'll
determines
end up with one of them.
who you end up with. And the one you think would be the hardest is the easiest, and the one you think would be really easy is not.
Oh, so like reality.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's like one thing is if you unlock the secret ending with Gran, is it unlocks like a thing, and apparently she was in the Korean version of Maxim magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's a supermodel or something in real life.
I could see that.
But in the game, she's just a chick with really big boobs and always wearing really tight shirts.
Well, Asians do like really big boobs.
And she's like mean to you all the
Who
time.
doesn't
But
like
when you
really
start
big-
treating her kind of like crap, you end up with her.
You're weird.
Not weird. I have a taste. Everyone has tastes left. Yeah.
You know, it's so
You're the
weird.
only one out
right?
here with that taste, man.
No, I know lots of guys who are like me that we appreciate the slim, pointier girls than we do the curvy, round ones. It's just a matter of taste.
Well, there's one of those too. She's really tall. She's like 6 feet tall,
Nice.
athletic, you know, but she was your childhood best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's not easy to hook up with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the big booby one, when you start talking dirty to her, that's how you get her. Like there's one thing where she's like, "How do I look today?" And you tell her button up. So of course she immediately leans back in her chair and unbuttons another button
Jeez.
because she's that way. And then she asks what you want for lunch. And the way you get the secret ending is you tell her that you want her for lunch.
Well, James, chicks dig it when you treat them like crap.
I guess. But if you offer to buy her mint pork soup, then that goes on to the other ending.
I learned that from Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, I learned that from Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
Hey, baby. Yeah.
He never
He
got
always
the chick
sounded like
though.
Elvis.
Jenkins, what's that? Some sort of breakfast cereal?
Yeah.
No.
And Velma was throwing herself at him.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Y'all saying you understand what this dog's saying?
I remember that. That was so.
Yeah, that was
funny.
back when they made good cartoons.
I know.
A Korean dating game with AI images of young Korean. They're not AI. These are
Yeah, they're
real
not. Yeah, they're real
people.
people.
I would ever care to play. Yeah, I watched Asmongold play it, and he cussed his brains out because of how hard it is, and it is hard. So then I was like, it's cheap. I'll download it and try it myself, and it was really hard. And then my wife was helping me, and we finally got past that 4th chapter, and after that, it's pretty easy, you know?
Yeah.
And then you just end up with whichever chick you end up with, depending on all the decisions you made up to that point. So I was like, okay, apparently these are really popular in Asia. I don't know
Oh, they
why,
are.
but
I don't either exactly. I mean, there are some that are okay, but I like them more for comedy aspects than actual dating sims.
Because there's
Yeah.
an epidemic in Asia right now of men being unable to get women.
Yeah, that's true.
It's getting really out of control in places like Korea and Japan that are watching their populations start to collapse.
Korea, Japan, China. Even China is really bad too.
Now, China needs its population to collapse, otherwise it can't survive, right? That's the problem with China. It's too big
Well-
for its own good.
that's why they keep inventing. Never mind. I don't want this to be removed from the yeah. I don't want this to be removed from the platform. But so I'm painting a sky skiff
Nice.
like for Talislanta because I've actually got all of the people who play in my One Ring game to say what Talislanta characters they want to play.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I limited it. I said they could only play characters from the 9 kingdoms,
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
which used to be the 7 kingdoms. But yeah, because if you just open the book at them and say, pick whatever you want, you're going to have problems. It's like Rifts. You're going to have Rift type problems.
You're gonna have a
Someone
bad
wants to
time.
play a Tolkien wizard, but the other guy wants to play, some other shit. And the next thing you know, it
Somebody
just
wants to play a
doesn't
witch
work.
hunter, and now the wizard's gonna have the time fighting off the witch hunter.
Right, exactly. So if you say you have to be from this kingdom, well, everyone in the 9 kingdoms is allies. I don't understand why people get off to that. No one's getting off to it. It was a challenge. And I'm glad I ended up marrying the big booby chick. But other than that,
It's a game.
it's not like I was sitting up at
exists.
night, manhandling myself and thinking about these Korean chicks because I wasn't.
No.
It
Yeah,
was
I'm
just
not-
like
I've never had that.
it's a weird thing that apparently is very popular in Asia.
No, I've never had the Asian fetish. I don't.
Me neither. Me
I like
neither.
Asian chicks. I don't know. No, I think
I'm nothing against them. I'm sure if I met a nice one and she was pretty and I was into her, I'd be there and be like, yeah, absolutely. But I don't have that what we used to call
That a
yellow
lot of
fever
guys
back in
have.
the day. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
a lot
of
of guys have that fetish.
Yeah, never had it.
Me neither. Me neither.
My weakness is slabs. They're just the
Oh,
fucking
God.
worst weakness to have.
Yeah, that's the worst weakness to have. Because if you show them any weakness, you're done.
Oh my god, you're done. You're done. And then, but if you tell them that, if you say that, they're like, why don't you want to date me? Because you're a slab, and if I show any weakness, you're gonna fucking murder me or just leave me. No, it's not true. That is bullshit. Blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, we'll try.
Yeah,
and then you show a little weakness, and well, via con diablos,
I've known a couple of guys who tried it out with Russian chicks, and they're all divorced.
You have to
It didn't
be
take long because
absolute, like, hardcore, old school man. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be in charge of the relation. That whole, like, this is a
oh yeah,
slap's
you
wife.
never asked them
Left the
where
dishes,
you're
you are
going.
my wife, and all that shit. That's like legit for that culture.
That's
now.
for real. That's cultural. Like when you pick a Russian girl up to go out on a date, you don't ask her where she wants to go. You show up promptly. You give her flowers. You tell her every itinerary along the way, what you're going to do, and then you take her, and then you bring her home.
Yeah.
You don't ask her shit.
No.
Because they don't respect it. They think you're weak. And I don't know if it's maybe being raided by Mongols and shit has left some kind of weird thing in their brain, but they want a strong man. I mean, they have weird views on a lot of shit. Like,
Yeah.
one of the weirdest things that I've heard is like their views on smacking your wife around. As long as you don't do it too hard, it's okay. Like every now and then you gotta smack them around a little bit, and they respect that.
So it's
But if
basically
you
Sean
actually
Connery.
cause damage, then you've crossed the line.
So it's the Sean Connery school of dating. Every now and then you gotta give him a little smack to remind him who's in charge.
Yeah, right. Every now and then you just gotta smack them, let them know you're the man.
Yeah.
Again,
And like, so
you're
you
only
hear
proving
this.
Johnny Lawrence right. Chicks dig it when you treat them like crap.
And as a Western man, you're just like,
No,
what?
no, we don't do. No, why
We don't
no?
lay our hands on women like that. But but pretty much if you go and meet a Russian woman and bring her to America, she's gonna pop out a kid and then leave you for someone better
Or someone Russian.
or someone Russian.
There's that whole.
And you're going to pay child support for 18 years.
In the 90s, there was this whole thing going on where it was like they would come, they'd marry an American, and then as soon as they had citizenship, they'd convince their husband to sponsor family members to come over.
But it was their boyfriend.
And one of the family members who was a cousin was actually the guy that she was in love with and was going to leave you for once everything was settled. You know?
Yeah. Yep, totally 100% believable. I mean, and yeah.
That's why Latinas are the way to go. They're so fucking sick of macho guys that the minute you show them a little bit of what we call, Western male behavior, they're like, you're so nice, you're so sweet. Oh my God. Like they freak out, like when you don't get up from sex and go hang out with your buddies and work on your car, they're like blown away that you're paying attention to them. It's like, what the fuck? How fucking low a bar have the fucking South American men set it,
Well, I mean, my cousin, he married a Australian woman, and it worked out horribly.
Which, old school or new school? Because there's two types of Australian women.
She was younger Australian woman.
Like,
worked out horribly. She was a party girl and wanted to run around, whatever. So they got divorced. He remarried a couple of years ago a Filipino woman. They got a kid. She's like, always at that house cooking soup.
They are super dedicated. It's working. It was explained to me by a Filipino friend of mine. She goes, you need to understand, even if it's a bad man, if we've made the commitment to be in the relationship, all other men are dead to us now. Like, it's like, what? How do you do that? Like, that's insane, but it's the way they are culturally.
Well, one part of it is the fact that they're all very devoutly Catholic, a lot of them.
True say.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they're like, yep, I am a very devout Catholic, old school, and I will not be cheating on a husband.
Well, James, to move off of this bizarre international dating conversation, something happened in the last 24 hours that I think you might appreciate.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm running a weekly game starting in January on Wednesdays, and It's going to be a D&D game. We're going to use D&D 2024, but after reading it, I can't because it's just fucking 5th edition again, despite their proclamations that it's not. It is. It's just 100% 5th edition with new rules to replace old rules that still are going to cause problems down the road. So after talking with the group and figuring it out, they really, 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 really want me to finish my BX revised edition and run that for the game. So I'm going to be running my BX revised edition in January.
Nice.
Can you believe it? I'm going to be running the BX D&D with my house rules, but basically it's OSE with house rules.
Well, yeah, I remember you had made the books.
Yeah.
You had books.
I had a book, but I'm going to finish it. I'm going to put it back. I'm going to make some changes that I wanted to make for a while. And I'm going to marry it into my Final Age setting, which is the horror post-apocalyptic fantasy setting. And fun times.
Well, that sounds really cool to me.
Should be fun. Should be fun.
Yep.
I gave them 3 choices. I gave them OSE BXR, what I call it, Savage Worlds Pathfinder, or Pathfinder First Edition Beginner Box. And ultimately they wanted the OSE BXR thing. It's going to be weird.
Choice.
But I got my class builder out, and I'm working on that, and I'm working on my racist class and all that fun stuff. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be very fun.
We shall see.
I have, really, other than One Ring, I've just been doing a lot of kind of wargaming stuff, really.
I haven't been like tabletop gaming in a while.
Like this thing I told you about.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the actual 2-player box set to show up because Hungar's supposed to be here Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And he's already called me out for a BattleTech duel and some other war games and stuff, and so that's going to be hilarious. I shouldn't talk any smack though, because if I talk smack, he'll win.
No,
Is that what happened?
Talk
Yeah.
the most smack as you can. That's how you guarantee your win.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't beat me in like, I don't know, a couple of years. And I don't want to do anything that would make it where he can.
Just style all over your opponent. You'll win.
Like the last time we played, like on his first movement phase, he moved his heavy mech up onto a hill to take shots. And then I moved mine and I took a bunch of shots at his Marauder and I hit it in the head 3 times and killed it. And that was like turn 1. He was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, this is getting ready to be a really bad game for you. Just FYI, you have dropped the bar of soap in the shower, buddy.
I know
This
how
shit
it
is getting ready
feels.
to be bad.
Me and my cousin, when we started our games in RuneQuest. Oh, wait, Dark Knight's back.
Oh, the Dark Knight.
When we were in RuneQuest, every zombie we had to fight, I literally would cut every arm and leg off of a zombie every time.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I
But
could-
what, you got to hit him in the head to kill him?
Head, abdomen, chest, they're the vitals.
Oh, okay.
Ball
That's not
sack.
too bad.
No,
Ball sack. Well, I mean, I think that would do it.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
no,
That's one of the things
every-
I've added.
Ball
So,
sack with a 2-handed axe. I think that'd be the end of them.
so one of the things I've added, James, for my version of BX is I'm making helmets have a use, which is if someone beats you, their attack roll to you by 5 or it's a critical, there's like a
chance.
4 in 12 chance on a 2d6 they hit you in the head. If
Right.
you don't have a helmet, death save immediately. If you have a helmet, depending on the type of helmet, you'll get a bonus to your death save. You know what I mean?
I think 1E does something similar to that, where if you don't have a helmet on, it has like a 1 in 6 chance of treating you as you have an AC of 10 or something.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's
Well,
annoying.
what it does
on
in
the fly map.
AD&D, if I remember correctly, is if you're not wearing a helmet, any intelligent monsters you fight will try to call shot your head.
I think call shots were 3rd edition, but probably and it wasn't something like that. In
No,
first
call
edition.
shots are in first.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's -8 or something, though, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a huge
That's brutal.
thing, but the problem is since you don't have a helmet, even though they're getting the huge penalty, the armor class is
It's
10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna be reading for my. I'm gonna start a Swords and Wizardry with some house rule game
Yeah.
next year, and
I
I'm going
probably should
to.
have done a lot of called shots.
Yeah.
Brucey Bruce is at work.
I need to read the DMG 1E DMG, so I'm gonna do
You
that.
do.
Yeah, I
To
do.
be fair,
I re-
Especially because, I mean,
we
Jenny
called
D's reading the damn thing, and you
Oh no,
haven't?
she's reading the 5th edition one, I think.
No.
No way.
Chick has a video out. She is
Ooh.
reading the 1st edition DMG, and the
Holy,
one she's reading is the one with the Efreet on the cover.
holy hell, Jeannie D. She's like a 5e.
No, it looks like she took the abuse from the OSR to heart.
I mean, when she did a video recently that for 10 years she didn't read the 5e DMG, so that's probably what spurred her on to go back. I mean, Puffin Forest went back. I think
Yeah,
what was it? XP to level 3 went back. It's like the Bro SR did a lot more a lot more good than we would have thought. So
I'm not giving them credit for it. I'm just giving the general community
Yeah.
credit.
fair enough. That's fair.
Right back.
Oh, take your
Well,
time, man.
I think you play 5th edition for a while and you like it,
Mhm.
but then eventually you realize that you want a little bit more.
My problem with 5e is more so the culture, because the people we played with did not read the rules and house ruled the crap out of it, and myself included. So
Yeah, I don't mind the house ruling. It's just that
it's inconsistent house ruling is what I
there's
mean.
a lot of stuff in 5e that's just like,
nah.
meh.
yeah, you're just like,
Like
why-
there's
why
no
is this the
domain
thing?
level stuff. There is dungeon generation and some vague references to overland travel, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you start playing 5e, you have to recognize the fact that you have been tricked into buying like half a game.
Not even half, man. It's like a third of the game. A third of the game is
Because
It's like a skeleton of a game.
pretty
Right.
much.
because there's no rules for like building castles or recruiting
Oh.
henchmen or like half the shit
That you
that
need
has
for
been a stock part of D&D forever.
yeah, but
It's
you also
just
have
not in that rule set.
I assume that in the core book they were going to add it on because you can see in Xanathars, it's even as far back as Xanathars, there's still like references to old school D&D. But after Xanathars is when it really started to drop off because that's when a lot of the would be like Critical Role adjacent types start like the theater kids really started to infiltrate the hobby, and it just deviated in an entirely different direction. By the time we get to like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the game is completely divorced.
Tasha was what I would call the 5e killer for me.
Yep. I mean, even like the basic expert pointed this out, where when players who are used to like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and beyond, when they went to Baldur's Gate 3, they encountered the original core rules of 5th edition as intended, and they kind of told on themselves, you didn't play 5e as intended, and so you got bodied. You know?
Right.
So you didn't read the rules.
Baldur's Gate 3 all that hard.
Oh yeah, I know, but that's because you're used to the kind of like abstract thinking, the use of environment and resources that most modern D&D players don't. They found it difficult because they didn't engage with the game on its terms. They tried to make the game engage with them on their terms, and it blew
Also,
up in
So
their
story-wise,
face.
to be fair, they were
I
only
didn't like
in the
Baldur's
game to have sex with the bear.
Oh God,
Oh,
please!
God, no.
Yeah, that was bad. But like, I'm talking about like if you just divorce the politic side of it and the degeneracy, like the game itself, from what I've seen, is a fine game. It's just
I've heard nothing but good stuff about it.
yeah.
I know, but that's just it. I played it. I don't like it. It's not that good of a game, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
The
no,
story
I've
was
heard
kinda
nothing but
mad
good
out,
stuff
and
about it.
I mean,
I
I'm talking about
hate
the I can understand why. I mean, I have no interest in playing it, but from what I've seen of the fact of the freedom you get from combat,
oh, that's fair.
Um,
Yeah, the combat was
yeah.
okay at best.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
I hated all the characters in the game.
Oh, I
Like,
don't
every
blame you.
character.
They all sound insufferable from what I've seen of their dialogue. Like if I saw the vampire character walk up to me, if I were any kind of lawful cleric, I would have just smashed him in the face until he died. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're an abomination. You die.
And they don't even give you that option. Like, you can't even
Ugh.
just go up and kill
See,
them.
Well, no,
that's the thing is you're playing in a setting where, like, you're going to run into some chick playing a half demon
Yeah.
whose dad is like some named demon in hell, and she and he are having like familial problems,
Yep.
and that's like really part of the game as intended.
Well, I mean, the actual barbarian in that game is a slave from Avernus. Like, she hates Zariel and all of her followers and stuff. Like, she'll get really mad at you if you help any demon of Zariel. So it's
Well,
like,
I mean, I would hope you weren't helping any demons, but
well,
yeah.
she's a tiefling. I know, but it's
She's a tiefling,
5th edition
so-
and the Forgotten Realms, James. It's like
right.
the game, like the setting at this point and the game itself incentivize you to be chaotic stupid.
Yep.
You know.
But as far as looking at the graphics and everything, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, I've
The
seen
graphics were
worse.
okay, yeah.
Like, I mean, if we're gonna
Although,
talk about,
I think
Okay.
it's hard to actually make a game look terrible anymore.
well, but to be honest, well, I mean, no, I actually disagree because a game can look graphically sharp and like, on a composite, but I mean, aesthetically, it can look very ugly. You know, like
I mean,
or
that's
very
fair.
bland. You know, like I will always say that like The Last of Us as a video game might look graphically sharp, but aesthetically looks ugly, especially part 2. But like Final Fantasy IX, even though it's like PS1 level graphics, its aesthetic I will always gravitate towards because it's actually unique. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
But- Yeah, but
I mean, there were so many good games that looked really good back in the day.
And that Roomba
Yeah,
She
I
just
know.
wants to go on.
Just don't
I mean,
want to
it's,
shut
I
up.
mean that's bad. Like we've pretty bad winds where I'm at right now. The weather is pretty. Yeah.
Well, isn't that like normal?
Well, no. I
when I
mean, it's
say-
bad enough that people are like warning not to drive. So you
Oh.
know, yeah. So you know,
Man. Yeah, that's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. So, or at least it might get to that point. You know. So.
I watched a movie
Mhm.
that is an Irish movie starring Irish actors, and at the end of the movie, I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah. What was the film about?
Well, it had Colin Farrell in it,
Uh huh.
and he was best friends with this bigger guy.
Oh, Brendan Gleeson.
And then one day, the bigger guy decided he was not going to be Colin Farrell's friend anymore.
I know the film you're talking about. He just said, I just don't like you. Yeah, you do.
Yep.
No,
And
And
it
then-
got so bad that the big guy started cutting his own fingers off and stuff.
yeah, that's a McCormick. I know the guy. He also directed the Calvary, so or In Bruges and the Guard. So he does really dark or like darkly funny films. You know, they're just really bleak.
Yeah,
No.
because the one guy, Colin Farrell, had a miniature horse,
Mm-hmm.
and the other guy was mad because Colin Farrell wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah.
So he cut his finger off and he chucked it at the house, and the miniature horse ate it and died. So
That's
then the big guy had to apologize for killing Colin Farrell's
horse.
horse, but they never made friends. As a matter of fact, in the end, the big guy burnt his own house to the ground.
Yeah, that's
And it
That's
was
a-
just like, what in the F is these guys' problems, right? Because apparently they had been like best friends for like their whole lives.
yeah.
And then one day, the one dude woke up and
Just-
just decided he had been wasting his entire life hanging out with the other guy.
I mean, if you're in a little mini island off the coast of Ireland and you're like in the 70s, like, what kind of prospect? I'm not trying to be mean to my countrymen, but like back then, you didn't have many prospects anyway. You were going to be a farmer till the day you died,
Right.
and you're going to be friends with everyone in your village. It's like, I
And
don't
the
know.
big guy stayed friends with everyone in the village except for Colin Farrell,
Yeah, my Irish ancestors are weird. What do you want?
which caused like no end of issue because Colin Farrell's best friend was the big guy.
yep. But
So when the big guy cut him off, he didn't know what the hell to do with himself.
yeah, he's just. It's like
It
it's
was
like your best
like
friend.
It was just the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
It would be almost almost as bad. That would be almost as bad as if someday your father, whom you've loved your whole life and loved you, and then suddenly he just wakes up and punches you in the face, and you're like, "What the fuck is this all about?" What
Right?
did I do? You're like, "I don't know. I just felt like it." What?
Actually, that wouldn't be as bad as this because the guy's best friend literally just one day said, I no longer want to speak to you ever again.
Yeah,
And
that's.
you no longer speak to me ever again.
I don't even think this is an Irish thing. This just seems like a cynic thing. Like most Irish people don't think like this.
Yeah, they were Irish. They were on some tiny
I mean,
island off the
yeah.
coast.
Well, I mean, no, I'd like as in like
But the one guy's
author-
like, don't talk to me ever again. I'm never
Mm.
going to talk to you ever again. But they lived on a small island off the coast. That was like, I don't know, 2 miles long.
pretty much.
So it was impossible to go a day without seeing one
See
another.
each other.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is that Irish people, at least on the mainland where I'm from, don't behave like this. I think this is just the author projecting his own feelings on things. I don't know.
The movie's called The Banshees of Inisherin.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It was
I've
crazy.
seen a
Like, I
pretty
watched
good
the whole
Celtic movie.
movie, and I was like,
I wonder if it was Irish or more Scottish or something. I don't know.
this
Uh,
guy out, guys.
Which movie are you talking about?
It was an animated movie called Secret of the Kells.
This is a light frigate.
Wow, that's
Are you sorry, DK, you were referring to Martin McDonough.
yeah, that was the one, yeah.
Yeah, I hated In Bruges. Oh my god, I hated that fucking movie.
I watched it when I was a teenager and I liked it. If I watched it again, I might not have enjoyed it as much. since
I
I've
watched it as a man in his 40s, and I was like, or no, in his 30s, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff, even when I was watching it, like I think it was just kind of like
Hey, Satya.
it was a lot edgier in my or at least a lot more cynical in my humor back then, so I might have enjoyed it for that.
I'm
but-
wearing my cold weather hat, Satya, because it's like down to like 50 degrees here in Orlando.
Oh, 50 degrees, that's it?
So I know everyone else is like 50 degrees.
It's 19 degrees freedom units in Montreal right now.
See?
And
And
we got
Satya, I
on the
believe, is from Finland. So
I think it's probably like 11 degrees Celsius over here, so it's like
Well, it's -7 here, buddy.
you might as well be talking a foreign
no,
language if you're going to talk
no.
Celsius to me.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
DK. So it's 19 Fahrenheit. DK, in about a month and a half's time, -7 is going to be like, oh my God, it's so warm today. Do you see how nice it was? Because we're going to hit -40 more than once.
oh Jesus.
Yeah, he's
It's between -25 and -35 for the next
Yeah,
Well,
it's never going to get as cold in Ireland as it does.
No,
with-
I know that. I thought he said 19. Like my brain just went Celsius. I don't know. Like I don't know why I thought. Oh, 19.
It's brain damage
Yeah, probably.
beaver pelts.
because everyone knows that all the cool countries that have put people on the moon and stuff like that use Fahrenheit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you really?
An
go-
Irishman-
did you really
an
put people on
Irishman
the
drove.
moon?
An Irishman drove the shuttle up. So you know.
Oh, wow.
Was he Irish though?
Yeah,
I mean,
Michael
he lived
Collins.
in
Michael,
America.
Michael Collins was born in Italy, but his parents were Irish American. Yeah.
Hey,
There
if
are
he
more
was
Irish
American,
in
sir.
America than there are in Ireland. Think about that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
It's.
yeah.
I mean, I learned this recently, but apparently there might be some evidence to suggest that Zorro, the pulp hero, was actually based on a man called William Lampert of Wexford, an Irish Catholic. Yeah, he emigrated over to America to escape the English, but at the age of 40, the Spanish executed him for protecting the Mexicans. And like the Franco-Spanish War was great.
So, yeah,
There's actually a monument to the Irish who fought for Mexico.
Yeah, the Cinco de Petruccio or something like that. I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Irish were like the way David Nahil, the Irish comedian, said, "Hey, America, can you help us poor starving refugees?" And like, sure, if you go and fight in our war against Mexico. And we were like, "Isn't there any better option?" No. And then we just swap sides. So
Yeah.
you know, it's great.
Yeah, I think all those guys got executed
Probably.
for treason.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But you know, the
I think
Mexicans
United
were eternally
States killed
grateful
them
for it.
all. Now, after the Civil War, I know a Civil War Confederate unit moved to Mexico.
Mm.
And
I
there's
think-
a whole village down there where they still celebrate like the Confederacy and shit like that.
I mean, there's like a Mexican boxer. I don't remember his name, but he's a heavyweight champion who's Irish. Shaquille O'Neal is descended from the Irish. And I think even Beyonce.
Well,
is-
Shaquille O'Neal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's either descended from the Irish or was owned by an Irish man.
Probably.
Well, his ancestors.
Because
Yeah,
when
he
they
has
freed
ancestors. Yeah, yeah,
slaves, a lot of times they would give the freed slave the
Yeah.
last name of the man
Master.
who owned them.
I mean, yeah, it's like, why do you think a lot of slaves are called freemen? It just literally means they are now a free man.
Free man.
So, you know,
Right. Kind of like how people would be called Smith or
if they were, Smith at the
Hunter
well or
or
something like
whatever.
that.
Cooper.
What?
Cooper.
it's only 33 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, that's
In combi terms,
Well,
1 degree Celsius.
Sotich is asking, what are you painting, James?
what am I painting now? Well, I just put the base on this green wizard. He is going to be a Cimmerillion wizard
That looks
from
cool, man.
Talislanta. The Cimmerillions are basically the main guys in the 9 Kingdoms. They're really good at being wizards. And then this is a flying ship from the Wish version of Talislanta, which is called Eberron. And, but I'm going to use it for Talislanta.
What is that
And
from?
then that big thing you
From
saw,
Eberron.
this is a light frigate And this is going to be for Blood and Plunder. This bad boy only costs 20 points of your 100-point force.
Wow. Nice.
But the negative is it's very slow. It turns slow. It's got a really deep draft. So,
Yeah.
you know, like this bad boy right here, once it's all sealed up, is much faster, more maneuverable, has barely no draft. You can run this Joker practically up on a beach. But the difference is this is a light ship, so it can only ever use light cannons, small cannons, right? Whereas that guy can field medium or heavy cannons.
Nice.
But hey, I've got to run the rigging from here to here, hang the 2 triangle flags down, and then a square flag up here. And then, since this is for me, a British St. George Cross flag up on the top. Because
Negative 40 degrees Celsius and negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit are the same.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Because as I've showed off in this box, I got the English starter set for Blood and Plunder. So yeah.
Are you just trying to rile up the Irishman by saying English over and over again? Is that what you're
Well,
doing?
actually, if they're English, half of them are probably Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like John
Kind of the
Paul.
funny thing is that a lot of
Or John Paul
Irishmen
Jones.
just served in the British Empire.
Yeah,
so-
this is the 17 something.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, my grandfather fought for the British in World War II against the Japanese, so
Dude, the Irish were the go-to for the British Army for a long time.
I might
Yeah,
have had
Irish.
a distant relative
DK.
who fought in
What's
the
up?
RAF.
What was that, Bear?
DK. North Irish or Irish?
I'm part of the Republic, so I'm South Irish.
Okay. Yeah, because most of them were neutral during World War II, right? They declared.
Oh yeah,
neutrality.
but he this was like when he was like 16 or 17. He went to fight for the Brit. A lot of individual Irish volunteered, but
Yeah.
Ireland as a country remained neutral because it was they just didn't want Britain to. Essentially, De Valera said the British would use this to assert control over the country again. So De Valera just said, "Yeah, fuck that."
No, it's like Canadians in Vietnam. Canada stayed out of that one, but a lot of Canadians crossed the border and joined up.
Yeah. I mean, my grandfather fought in Korea for the American Air Force and in Vietnam as well. So, you know.
See, the Canadians missed out in Vietnam. The Australians helped us.
I
though,
don't
and
think they
were bad.
missed out.
There was A, we didn't miss anything, and B, there were a ton of Canadians who volunteered and went
Yeah,
down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
So-
you did. I don't think anyone missed out on not participating in that fucking shit
Yeah.
show. You know, let's
Well,
be
the
frank.
Australians were kicking ass all over the place. And
Mhm.
of course, our South Korean brothers, those guys were terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were fighting against communists, so I'm not surprised. So,
Yeah. Apparently, their leader tried to declare martial law the other day, but then
he's
the
out of
rest
a
of the
job
government
now.
yeah,
told
he
him
got
no.
voted out. Like, it was it was unanimous, like 108, 190 to 0. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I
he's like,
appreciate
I'm
that you're
declaring
putting the
martial
vote.
law, and they're like, no.
Nope. I mean, you know, you'd think if he was declaring martial law, he would have just said, "Yeah, I'm just doing it anyway." But okay, thanks for respecting democracy, dude.
Well,
No, he
I
was-
think
he
the
was-
problem
he lied.
is he can declare martial law all he wants, but the army wasn't with it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
well, he lied.
So it's like,
He claimed that it was because of North Korea, but apparently it turns out it's because he's severely unpopular. And yeah, they were maneuvering, like political parties were maneuvering against him to get him out of office. So he thought this would be his big salvation. And no, it
Nope.
didn't work
Yeah,
out.
well,
Actually, exactly the opposite way he thought it would
Yeah, no.
I mean, coups only work if the army likes you. You know.
go. Only. The only way a coup works is if the army's on your side.
Yeah, okay,
and
fair.
apparently
Fair.
this time
I'll
they
grant you.
were not.
I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that one, Bear. That's fair.
If the army's against your coup, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Unless you have a big civilian population, like say in the U.S. with they're all armed, maybe you
Look
could
at
do it.
every single popular revolution that has overthrown the government. It only succeeds when the army halfway through goes, "Yeah, fuck it, we're on your side now."
Yeah, true.
Uh,
fair enough.
Technically,
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
American Revolution.
The American Revolution was not a fucking coup.
No.
There
Yeah,
was no
that's
coup involved. That was a straight up war.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
And it
basically,
still wouldn't
the
have
main
worked if the
reason
French
we
hadn't
won
helped you.
that's true. True.
is the French and the fact that the British
We're a little
didn't
busy in
know how
Europe.
big America was.
Yeah.
So they basically, England basically got tired of fighting the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, screw it, you know. They didn't know
Hey,
They came back
but
in
to
like
be fair,
1812 and
we-
burned
that in
down the.
1812 they came back and burnt down the White House.
That was
be
us.
fair,
That wasn't the
we-
British. That was us.
It was
Those
Canadian
irregular
but they
forces.
were wearing red uniforms.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They were classified as Canadian irregulars. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's
To
give
be
the Canadians
fair,
their
though-
due. They deserve it.
we Americans invaded England.
We did.
Yeah.
We invaded their sea fort. We jacked a bunch of their cannons, and then we ran.
And we captured one of their ships.
Yeah.
And we captured a ship. Yep.
Walks in, steals the British cannons, leaves. Does not elaborate.
Well, by jack, I don't mean stole. I mean they spiked them.
Yeah.
Oh, as in they destroyed them.
They
Oh,
destroyed them. Because I guess most of the Englishmen at the sea fort in England were drunk.
They didn't expect it.
I know the British drunk. My shock horror bear. I know.
They didn't expect anybody to ever natively invade them.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you're
kind of like-
Britain,
I mean, that's kind
and
of
you're at
almost
peace
as
with
funny.
everyone.
That's almost as funny as when you hear like Vlad Tepes just like going into like Turkish camps, disguised himself and speaking fluent Turkish, and then just burning the city. It's just you hear stuff like that. It's like, it's funny.
Oh, we also did steal some nobleman silverware too. That happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah, somebody stole some silverware because, you know,
yeah,
That was
that's what
John
you
Paul
do.
Jones.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yep. that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
He got on his frigate and he sailed it all the way across the Atlantic.
Oh, and guess what? He was Irish.
Well, he went up the Irish coast first, and then he ended up sailing around looking for something to do, and then he found that British sea fort. And they waited till nighttime and landed,
but I mean-
and all the British were drunk.
But yeah, John
Well,
Paul Jones, he was an Irishman who
God,
had to
lads.
he defected
Lads,
to America.
it's perfect. It's perfect, lads. They're. I know exactly how to exploit them because an Irishman just knows when a man's drunk.
Yes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of the Americans were drunk too
yeah,
during the operation. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah, that was
so it's kind of like it's
I mean,
more
to listen-
funny than talking about a battle.
yeah,
It's
it was
just
funny.
like a weird. It's like a
Like-
weird bunch of
it's not the
circumstances.
weird. It's not the
The
weirdest thing
American-
I've heard about war because there was like a city state that like had a three-way war over a bucket, and it's like
kind of that did happen. But with this one, the Americans also didn't have anything to light up. Like they were trying to set ships on fire, so they went to the tavern, got drunk instead.
are
Yeah.
you serious?
Trying to they were trying to get a light to make some fire, so they went to the tavern and instead just got drunk.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they were trying to burn down the British ship that was there, and
Yep.
instead they went and got drunk.
That is so
Yep.
funny. That is so bloody funny.
So on their way out, they spiked a bunch of guns, and then they went back to America.
Yeah, but
Fair enough.
before that though, they actually got in a fight, which their ship was sinking, and they had to abandon ship. So they basically took control of the enemy ship.
Yeah,
and made
they
the enemy
boarded
surrender.
the enemy ship. Their ship sank. They kept the other ship.
They had a
And
little
back
bit of
off
trouble.
to America to.
First, they
Play
actually
with
had to go
your
get
bit.
repairs, so they went to the Dutch, and the Dutch
Yeah.
was like, whoa, we can't do anything.
Nerdy ogre. Yep, that's
We
the
can't
Irish.
just-
We're just too powerful. We're
Yeah.
too powerful. We need
Have you
alcohol
ever
to keep us in
seen,
check.
have you ever seen that bit on Family Guy?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Ancient Ireland, and it's like a super sci-fi society, and like we've
And
cured
then
all
alcohol.
disease, we've cured this. Boys, I've invented this thing. It's called whiskey.
And the Irish went all
and the
downhill
next
from
thing
there.
you know, they're just fist fighting all
Hey,
over
James.
the place.
Before
Yeah, but the
they
funny
actually
thing is-
before
The funny
they
thing
went
is, it
back
didn't
to
do
America.
much. The Irish still did a lot throughout history. You know.
Yeah.
Not as much as the Scots, though.
Before we get to Killdozer, James, before
1800s, man, someone put it in the Scottish brain that engineering was the way to go, and they went fucking apeshit on engineering.
before they actually
That's
got
fair.
back to America, they actually had to go to a Dutch port, which was neutral, to
Yeah.
get repairs, and so they had to actually come up with a flag just so they could say it wasn't a British captured ship.
So I will say a lot of the Scottish engineers, a lot of them were actually from England rather than Scotland themselves. But details.
Well, you're just being a pissy little Irishman that can't accept that the Scots did something.
Well, James,
I agree
what's
with
your
you.
thoughts on?
Oh, I know. I
Good.
love the Scot. I love my Scots brothers. I do. They're basically Irish anyway. So.
Well, they are. They love when you remind them that Scotialand is the Romans' name for land of the Irish.
Yeah, the
This way.
Scotian tribe went up to the Picts, wiped out all the Picts, and then the Irish also went over to Wales and conquered Wales, and it's like, yes, get in there, boys.
Well, hey,
The
Bear, you know
Hebridean
what?
shores got a lot of O'Neills and O'Flynn's in it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. And
Hey,
even
Bear,
over
do you
here,
know
the
why
Mex-
there's a bunch of Avon rivers?
The only difference between
Because
a Mac,
Avon means river.
Yes.
the only difference between a Mick and a Mac in Scotland is that the Mick MC is Irish and the MAC is Scottish. That's literally the only difference.
That's why we call it McDonald's and not McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Except for some people who still, for some reason, do call it McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I don't know
McDonald's.
what's up with that.
Oh, the Aussies do. They call it Macca. All right, that's their slang for it.
McDonald's.
It's Macca.
Yeah.
Going to Mackers.
We gotta go to Macad's.
That's what they call it here in Quebec.
Candy corn hat, James. Thank you very much, Nerdy Ogre.
Yeah, for speaking of McDonald's, one of the it's a weird fantasy Gonzo setting I'm running in my Swords of Wizardry game. Like Ronald McDonald's house will be in the game, but it'll be Ronald McDonald's house.
I
of
gotta
Horrors.
go. Dinner's ready.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Levis.
I'll see ya.
See you. Bye.
All right. Oh yeah.
That's how Newfoundlanders say boy.
I'm sorry, what?
Bye. How you guys doing?
Which time everybody?
Yeah, fucking newfies.
Oh, dude,
Lord Thunder and Johnny Jesus by. I walk over there and I'll make myself so
It's
tired.
American.
So I'll be limping home.
this American. Oh God,
They are
this,
Irish. The Newfies are Irish.
I know, but the accent, that fake Irish accent is just.
It's not fake. It's just the one that evolved over them being on that island for a couple hundred years.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. I don't know.
Again, Nerdy Ogre.
My wife was watching
constantly
one
need
of
to remind
those,
you Americans, you would not have a country if you weren't for the French. So stop shitting on the French.
Oh, I like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lafayette.
but I can shit on the French all I want. So you know.
Lafayette's
Your,
the
your
man.
name, Nerdy Ogre? No, it's not. So therefore, I wasn't talking to you, sir.
Touche. I know.
Lafayette trained the Continental troops, and then the French fleet trapped Cornwallis at York, I think, and that was the end of that.
Was
now,
it
had
wrong?
that not happened, very different story.
Yeah. Very,
I don't know
very
what would have happened. Maybe we would have won, maybe not. I mean, the biggest part of it was the British just didn't have their heart into it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, they were
pretty
trying
much
to save the
anytime
French
the
monarchy.
British had their hearts into it, they never lost.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, when they decided, hey, we're going to do this thing, they pretty much always did. You know,
Yeah.
but with us, after so many of them got killed, they were like, screw those rednecks.
I kind of wish the British took that same approach with the Irish. It would have been great, but well, what I know.
It's funny. Somebody posted an election map, except it was like if the British had won, and it had a picture of King Charles, and like every county in the United States was this color of his candidacy. You know, it was like because you know the monarchy. There's, you know, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is, but. So,
Cajun country is just a few states. Yeah, that's where the Canadians decided to hate on some French guys and run them off.
I was the British. The British basically threw the Acadians out of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and sent them down there.
Yeah, they freaking walked down Mississippi River or something until they got to the end of it.
It is weird to me though that I'm actually surprised at how from what I looked this up, I was like, the Cajuns have a big like French Catholic contingent, and I'm like, that really surprises me since they're like in Louisiana.
Yeah, but they're Canadian. They're Acadian French, so they were
Right.
French Catholics in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia
Right.
that the British drove out to give it to the Irish and the Scottish. And as a result, they had nowhere to go, so they just went down to the French territory, which was Louisiana, which was part of France for a long ass time.
Yeah. And France
Yeah.
was Catholic. Yeah. Then Louis got his head chopped off, and oops.
Louisiana was part of. It was a French colony for I think a couple hundred years.
Like what, 200 or 300 years or something like that.
It was
Yeah,
right
a
up
long
until
time.
the Napoleonic War when he sold it off to the
And
Americans.
that would be 1815.
Yeah.
And they were before that for a long time.
I mean, I know the song, like, Istanbul, not Constantinople. Like, wasn't New York called New Amsterdam for a
was.
while?
Yes. It was a
And then the
Dutch
British
colony.
basically dominated the Dutch, and
Yeah.
they renamed it to New York after the North English city of York,
Yep.
which was actually built by Vikings. so that's a convoluted thing. And you see that if you watch the Johnny Depp version of Sleepy Hollow,
Yes.
because he has to go to like upstate New York to the Dutch village.
Yeah.
And like everyone there is, New York Dutch.
And
My favorite thing about New York City is this: is everyone goes, "Oh, the French, the French, the French, the French, the French." Well, you're judging a country by Paris. So the only thing that Americans are going to say is, imagine if everybody judged America by New York City.
Oh God.
You'd be like, "We're not like them," and it's like, "Well, yeah, but if everyone judged you like that, that's what you're doing with the French when you shit on the French. You're judging them by the Parisian behavior."
Yeah, the Parisians. That's why I get in on the jokes, but I do try quite often to say it's not because I've been to Paris and I've been to like Lourdes outside, and the people of Lourdes were lovely people. They're wonderful people.
Go to Marseille. They're beautiful, wonderful people.
Yeah. I need to go to more French
yelling.
places. Yeah, it's just Parisians. It's the Parisians that are the assholes. Yeah. Like, I mean, even the Japanese have a psychological condition called like Paris syndrome, where people who like their citizens come back from Paris and like there's a spike in suicidal thought. Like, and I don't blame them. Like, Paris is a fucking shithole.
Nerdy Ogre,
I
would say that as an American,
Nerdy Ogre, if that's true or not. I think the French helped America because they wanted to stick a thumb in England's eye.
That's exactly what they did.
Because they were just pissed off with the British.
Judges Americans based on New Yorkers is absolute horseshit.
Which is extra hilarious when you consider the fact it was the English who were trying to help save their monarchy from the fucking French revolutionary forces.
Hey, walking over here.
We judge Americans on America. That's what everybody on the planet judges your country by. Those fucking meatheads. America, my country, right or wrong.
Well, I don't mind.
Great. What's the fucking contest? We all accept you've won it. Just tell us what it is now.
Yeah, I think I've seen this a lot. I appreciate American patriotism, but there are some people on Discords where I'm like I say, like, American food tastes really bad, and I've tried it, and I'm just like, I wasn't impressed with it. It's like, oh, but that's only a bit. It's like, I'm sorry, it's just not better than European food. I'm sorry.
No,
because
Canada cannot be defined by Toronto, Father Aaron. Stop your nonsense. The rest of us hate that fucking place.
In Toronto? That's...
Oh my God. The only
people hey, Dungeon Minister. Hey.
And he lives next to it, so he has no excuse for talking nice about it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I only just saw him pop up there. Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, I got to go start making supper. As much fun as it is to argue, I got to go make my supper. James, nice to see you. DK, always nice to talk to you. Nerdy Ogre, always fun to argue with you about things that are fun. And Father Aaron, believe it or not, I'm going to be running D&D on Wednesdays. I know. Crazy old world. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Man, I like Dungeon Minister's stuff. He's really cool.
Yeah, Dark Knight, if you think American food sucks, you've had the wrong American food.
I think mainly it's just East Coast, like New York, New Jersey. Like,
I mean, pizza.
Not even the pizza was that great, to be honest. Maybe I'll try better food, like Southern food. And
I mean, it was better than any pizza you're going to get in Europe.
No, dude, not even close. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Nope.
We invented pizza.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. When?
What the Italians called pizza was tomato pie.
Well, no, they didn't even know. Here's the thing: the Italians, like, if we're talking like ancient Rome, the tomatoes are South American. They didn't like. I'm not saying the Italians.
I'm talking about the Nepalese who created tomato pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the Nepalese.
What happened is when the Italians migrated to New York, they got jobs. They made a shit ton of money, and meat was really cheap at the time. So all of a sudden, that's where you get Italian sausage and Italian this.
Or I
and
will say,
everything with
I don't
meat in
mean
it,
the
and ragu
concept.
sauce.
I don't mean that. I don't. Okay, I won't say the concepts of the food you make are bad.
I
I'm
mean,
saying
they were Italians, but they were in
yeah, yeah.
America.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's the ingredients that I have a problem with. That's what I'm saying. The concepts are fine.
And
It's
Father
just-
Aaron is correct. Southern barbecue
I need to try. I do need to try like Texas
rocks
barbecue.
the whole world.
I've
Like,
never
if
had
you
Texas
find
barbecue.
good brisket or good ribs.
I will say I think the problem is that I'm just eating a lot of what would be processed American food. If I
Yeah,
try,
man,
yeah.
that shit's no good for you. We actually elected a guy recently based on the fact that he decided to be buddies with another guy who promised to fix the food situation.
Oh yeah, our RFK. Yeah. Do you know what's
Right.
funny is that I'm putting Raccoon City from Resident Evil in it, and in that game, there's a character called Leon Scott Kennedy. So I'm making I'm making RFK the Leon Scott Kennedy and fighting against Dr. Fauci for starting Umbrella Corp. Wait,
I
basically
have a
Umbrella Corp.
really like liberal.
Well,
need.
the Irish have been have been culturally compromised. No, we haven't. We've been culturally compromised by American liberalism. Don't shame Irish iconography, sir. And how are you, Nerdy Ogre? How are you?
Hey, Nerdy Ogre.
Howdy,
I
howdy.
have a very liberal niece, and
My
last time
sympathies.
I talked to her after the election, I told her, I said, you should be happy. I mean, it looks like the Democrats won. And, and it's like, because Trump used to be a Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat, RFK was a Democrat. It's like all
Elon
of
Musk was socialist.
Elon Musk
problem
was
is-
a Democrat. It's like,
It just almost seems like the more moderate, fair-thinking liberals in the Democratic Party got ousted by the fucking communists.
pretty much that's what happened.
Yeah.
It's like the mainstream Democrats, which is what I used to be,
Hmm.
either ceased to exist or just got kicked out.
Or just
Because the modern day Democrats, whatever they are, if you don't agree to all their degeneracy and shit like that, then you can't be a Democrat anymore. Even if you agree with like social safety nets and workers' rights and whatever else.
well,
Even
I
if
will
you
say-
agree with all the original stuff, if you don't agree with that one little thing,
You
You're
have
gone.
you're gone.
you have
So,
to toe
like,
the
okay.
party line 100%. Otherwise, you're ousted. You're gone.
I agree,
Yeah.
Bear.
That's
That's
very,
communicating.
very true, Bear. Democrats didn't win. Classical liberals won. That's fair.
Yeah, but they used to be. When I was a kid growing up, that was the Democrats. They were
Yep.
the ones that were always fighting to keep the coal mines open.
Yep.
They were the ones that were always, arguing
What?
for
You mean the
that
party?
they were fighting for the working man. You know what I mean?
You mean
And-
the slightly
Something
left-leaning but moderately minded people who wanted to help the working class did things to help the working class? I am shocked.
Yeah, they used to. Like in Kentucky, it was a big deal because all we had is coal.
I mean, look at Keir
So,
Starmer. Look
you
at
know.
look at him. He's part of a party that claims to help the working class, and look at what he's doing, persecuting the working class.
Well, Europe is all jacked up.
Oh yeah, we're screwed, man. We are so fucked.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing.
Authentic Irish cream butter.
And apparently, Trump joked around with Trudeau about just turning Canada into the 51st state.
It probably won't happen, but
I hope
But-
not.
yeah. Well, I will say that it is like you hear stuff like they're all like Yahtzees and Yahtzees this and Yahtzee that, and yet Trudeau. Oh, go ahead, not nerdy. Over, go.
There was a U.S. senator. I forget where from and what her name is and all that, but she was talking about 4 of the New England states succeeding from the U.S. and joining Canada. Now, here's
I think
my
also
thought.
California too.
Now, here's my thought. We should let them. We should let them succeed. Let them become part of Canada, and then the U.S. comes in and makes Canada part of, takes Canada in as the 51st.
Not Your Echo said now they're the party that wants to call kid creeping maps. Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh,
That's where it happened. It's like they went from we're going to fight for the
Democrats.
coal miners, and we're going to make sure the lumber mills are running, and people are going to be able to feed their families. And hey, it might not be the best of everything, but at least you'll be able to have a life.
I mean,
Contrary
And
to
then
popular
it
opinion,
completely
Democrats
changed.
really haven't changed since
The
they've
90s.
been formally a party.
Mm.
They really haven't.
Yeah,
Well,
I will say
They
it's
were
the
the
same,
ones
like,
that fought against freeing the freeing the slaves. They were the ones, that they were the ones that created the internment camps in World War II. And I'm not saying that the Republicans are completely innocent. But I mean, to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, well, Democrats used to be
yeah,
completely
Dungeon
different. They used
Minister
to be
Bear
a
said
party for the people." No,
well, I
and
mean,
unless you were rich,
think about this.
unless you were rich people, the Democrats were not for a party for the rich.
Just
I mean-
think about this, the nerdy ogre. I mean, over the course of 200 years of American civilization, things have changed.
Yes, no,
Norms
totally.
have changed.
I mean, I'll give you an example, guys. Like in Ireland,
Yeah, Canada burnt the White House, but then
Yeah.
we massacred the British Army at New Orleans.
I mean, in
So,
Ireland,
I mean, you got the White House, and we massacred an army.
the party Sinn Féin, from what I understand of it, are like pro EU. Like they were the staunchest, like particularist, nationalistic party. They were associated, wink wink, with the IRA.
Well, that was
doesn't-
kind of the thing, was the IRA
Mhm.
would stop blowing shit up, and Sinn Féin would
Become
try to
political. Yeah, but the
politically.
entire purpose of that party was to establish our Irish nationalism, yet they bend the knee to the European Union. It's like,
Yeah.
as long as it's not the British Empire controlling us, I guess. It's okay, whatever. Sure.
And now you've got a bunch of non-Irish people running your government. Good job.
Yep. We got a one of the current
DJ
government.
Khalif, you played yourself.
This was a couple months ago, but they got someone from the north of Ireland to control over basically black armor clad and faceless unidentifiable thugs with batons to attack homeless people and threaten teenagers.
What?
Yep. I'll show you the video. I'll get the video and I'll ping you on it in the Discord, but it's like, yeah, great. We've got the Northern Irish, the Unionists terrorizing the Irish. Great. It's in the 2020s, so it's literally 100 years ago. The British did this before, and now they're doing it again. Yay!
Yeah, well, you guys.
It's no different than what happened in Canada with the trucker rallies. You see that crap where like old ladies were getting pushed down by guys on horses, or these
Yeah.
guys with batons are beating the crap out of people. It's like, it's no different. It's no different. Well, something's gonna give eventually, I suppose.
Well, Bear's going to be running AD&D or D&D after talking
BX,
so
yeah.
much shit about
gonna-
it for
He's
so
gonna
long.
do BX, yeah. I'm gonna run Swords and Wizardry in the new year. Can't
So
wait.
that's kind of hilarious.
He's going to be running a D&D game with
He is.
with the threat of the fascists buying up Hasbro.
Well, no, he's
Oh.
actually running BX.
Yeah. Well, he's doing the only true one of the only true editions of D&D, because OD&D with Chainmail, BX, and 1E are all Gygax. Everything after that is fan fiction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no D&D stopped being D&D with second edition. Sorry, because Gygax didn't invent it. Sorry.
Pretty much. Well, the whole point of second edition was to remove Gygax.
Gygax. And they're doing it again. They're doing it again.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't get into role playing until third edition.
Yeah, I'm not
So I
saying they're
wouldn't-
bad systems. I'm just saying they're not Gygaxian, and that's what I'm saying. They're fine. Like, I'm not a fan of third edition. It's way too crunchy for me. I don't like, massive rules bloat, but I can understand why people like it. I'm just saying that, like, D&D is Gygax. This is something else.
There's a lot of good stuff about third edition up
Mm.
till like level 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the concept
And
of
then
epic
once you hit
6.
level 10, it's about time to make new characters and start over.
Well, I mean, Tim Cass said the same thing, even in OD&D. It's like, when we got to level 10, we retired them. That's why in OD&D, most of the levels cap off at 10. Maybe
Right.
12 with the wizard, and that's it. So
It's going to be a while, but yes, GM Cody. I want to answer GM Cody. They sent me the player's handbook, but the thing is, somehow they didn't notice that when I did the Kickstarter, I did a player's handbook and the sleeve with all 3 of the books in it. So I had to email them, and they're like, okay, we'll take care of it. So who knows when it's going to get here, and it doesn't matter. I've got all the PDFs anyway. One thing I was going to say earlier to anyone who wants to play Talislanta, and if you use miniatures and you're worried about it, D&D Goliaths. If you get a Goliath that doesn't have like a beard or a mustache, because some do, but if you buy a Goliath miniature that's just bald and you paint them all super colorful, like they're cut, with tattoos everywhere, that's a thrall.
GM Cody, I will say there is a version of Basic that was done by not Mulvey, it was someone else. It was not Holmes. There was someone in between the two of them that Mulvey took over. I don't remember.
Well, you have OD&D, then you have Blue Holmes, and then you have Mulvey Cook.
Cook does the expert set.
He did the expert set.
Yeah, and then someone else does BECMI, like BESCMI. Oh God, who was that?
Metzer.
Menzner, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Who they hate? They hate him too. So poor guy.
Oh yeah, of course they do. They're like any parasite. They hate the host, and they're leeching off of the. Cook did do the expert set, and I actually have the original Mulvey. And
Cook did a couple of things.
Yeah, I did.
Mulvey, on the other hand, he edited the basic.
Yeah,
and then kind of vanished off into the wilderness.
Menzner, yeah. I have my friend Robbie McHugh, really great guy. I have to talk to him again. It's been too long, but he gave me for free like some of his second edition books, some DCC books, and because I always wanted it, I loved BX at the time, and I still do. He gave me his copy of Mulvey Basic and Cook Expert, so I have the original BX.
Now, one thing I've had explained to me, guys, is that if you look at, and I did, if you grab your Mulvey Basic set and you actually look at it,
it says edited
by Gygax. Written by Gary Gygax, edited by Mulvey.
Yeah, in all likelihood, you could argue that maybe Gygax had could change at his discretion, and it was by and large Mulvey who wrote it, but because he owned the brand. But it's very likely that Gygax did write it, and Mulvey.
Well, supposedly, it was just supposed to be OD&D re-edited with newer rules updates.
Pretty much,
and whatever. Now, even though I'm a BX guy, BECMI kicked ass because that game, first off, Bargle is a bastard.
Oh, yeah.
But if you read the player's book for BECMI, you knew how to play D&D.
Oh, yeah.
By the time you were done.
Dungeon Minister.
Like that little adventure.
Yeah, with what was it, Elisa? I think her name was the cleric.
Elisa, whatever.
Arlena or something like that. Oh,
Alina,
by the way, Dungeon Minister, if you're still here, have the boys managed to kill Bargle yet?
When I think about Bargle, you know who I always imagine in my head?
Who?
Rip Torn from Beastmaster.
I have not seen Beastmaster. I've been meaning to, though. There's a lot of pulp stuff I want to watch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the evil priest with the weird nose was Rip Torn.
Alina, thank you, Dungeon Minister. Thank you
very
much. Yeah, the comedian, from the Watchmen.
No, the comedian from Dodgeball.
Oh, as in not Ben Stiller, the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, Ben Stiller was in it.
Really?
And so was Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was
quite a few little differences.
The guy who owned Everyday or Normal Joe or whatever.
Rip Torn was indeed in Beastmaster.
Yeah, he was the evil priest.
Yeah, OD&D with chainmail and the supplements. GM Cody is basically Proto 1E essentially. There's
Yeah,
very
if you add all the supplements, it's
basically
gets close. It gets
pretty
close.
yeah. I just prefer OD&D because it's closer to 1E, and I can add stuff on at my discretion rather than starting with 1E and working backwards. Much easier to step on the gas than slam on the brakes, kind of thing.
And I prefer OSC because it's basically a combination of AD&D and basic
yeah.
D&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also use the
Racist class.
no, the alternate rule where thief skills are all on a dice 6.
Oh yeah. No, that's if you want uniformity. I think White Box, like Fantastic Medieval Adventure Game, does that as well. If you use the thief as an optional class, and in the omnibus that came with Swords and Wizardry White Box, the original before FMAG, actually gave a house rule where the climb skill was a 5 and 6 from level 1 onwards.
What they do in OSC, if you've got the carrion crawler magazine or whatever it's called, is they basically just do the same thing. Got a boot.
A boot.
Yeah, got to boot it. Yeah, catch you later.
I like just White Box with a few. Yeah, I can understand that, Jam. But the reason why I'm saying I want to use like Swords and Wizardry Complete with 1E is because I'm running a multi-DM, multi-dimensional campaign, so I need more robust rules than just OD&D. So I need that depth of ruling for me. But I completely understand why. I hate riffs. I hate riffs so much.
Like with Talislanta, I did with Talislanta what people should do with.
I like the setting. I would say the Gonzo element is cool. I just don't like. I remember one person wanted to run for one. Like basically, it was supposed to be longer, but it only lasted a session. He spent 3 hours making my character for me, and I was like, granted, I chose an off the kilter one, but if I had known it would take that long, I would have told him just give me a bog standard human fighter to save you time because I've never played.
Why? For Talislanta, I said everyone's character has to be from the 9 kingdoms.
Yep.
Which is one of the political areas. It's the 9 kingdoms.
Fair enough.
So it limits the characters to like a handful of races.
And a handful
because
of classes.
If you just let them go through the player's handbook in Talislanta, there's like 90 archetypes that are playable.
Yeah.
But if you say 9 kingdoms, it's like 7.
What you were going to say, Nerdy Ogre?
Plus,
I was just going to ask what you played.
What do I play? Oh, my character was
What Rift?
Oh, and the thing, I think if it was Rift or was it Savage Worlds, but I was playing a giantess, fucking cleric type thing. With like, I don't remember because this was like over a year ago, but it was basically a giant cleric / paladin type thing, and it was like it was nuts. It was insane.
Was it Rift or fantasy?
I think he might have added fantasy on top of it because he was like setting it in New York, but like there was interdimensional problems going on, kind of like what I'm doing in my Swords and Wizardry game, where the joke is. Because it was the same year that Trump got elected, essentially, was Harambe died. And when he died, that like split reality off into another dimension. And time got retconned. Like Americans lost a lot of their guns, and they basically went to breach loaders and trapdoor loader guns, but they got magic and clerical spells and demons and monsters and shit. Like Trump is literally the God Emperor. Queen Liz is on the golden throne. Being fed 1,000 prime ministers a day to stay alive. There are Cockney orcs, and there Dracula from Castlevania rules over Pennsylvania. Silent Hill is there. Yeah, there's space Amish and Sky Mormons and the Nubians and Yakub. Canada is ruled over by Wendigo Mussolini as an undead. Justin Trudeau over the Great White WIGHT North against the trucker rallies, the trucky ralliers who are basically like the Night's Watch. The Earth is a flat hexagonal planet with an ice wall around it, and there's like yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jack Vance, like JD Vance, the vice president, is also Jack Vance from The Dying Earth, basically.
I wonder
So
if they're related.
so
Probably
basically,
it might be.
he created his own dimension in.
Oh no, this is my setting. This is my setting
Oh.
that's doing this. This is mine.
Yeah,
This
that
is
would
what
be
I'm-
interesting if,
Oh,
if
yeah.
the vice president was related to Jack Vance.
That would be really cool. I doubt it's true. It's probably a coincidence, but it would be funny. Oh yeah, and Hillary Clinton is a lich, and there is this joke where when I heard this was really disturbing, but it was my friend wrote cultivator fiction inspired by this as well. But
wrote
at-
cultivator fiction.
he got into there's this thing like this joke of like it's inspired by the Chinese of like the ancient Chinese like chronicles. It's called cultivator fiction online. But apparently a friend of mine showed me this and I was really disturbed by this. But there's like we'll say illicit images online of people making like furry images of Kamala Harris as a hyena, and I'm like, yeah, I saw the banner for it, and it's like r/Kamala Harris for hyena prawn, and I'm like, that's like, why?
Because furries are the worst people.
Yeah, and I thought since my friend was writing cultivator fiction inspired by that, making Kamala Harris like the cackling hyena, I think that's probably why, because the way she laughs. I just went, screw it. Kamala is a cackling hyena Harris, because screw it. And
we need to bring bullying back, because
oh yeah, no, we do.
Those people need to be bullied every time they step out of their house.
I know, but
It's the only way to fix them.
Do you know what we need to do, right? Not just bring bully. We need to teach people to stand up to their bullies. That was the problem. If kids realize that, hey, I've been punched, maybe not in the face, but I've been punched. It's not that big of a deal. It sucks.
How do you live in Ireland and not have been punched?
I was very sheltered, and my parents told me to avoid fighting. So,
all I ever did was fight.
I know it didn't do me any good. If I ever have kids, that's the first thing I'm going to teach them. Teach them how to stand up for themselves.
Like, if I came home and my brother had got beat up and I hadn't got beat up, then I got beat.
Yeah, pretty much. Because she probably assumed that you beat him up.
Whipped.
Yeah.
So, and
look,
so there's a lot of like that, plus being a bunch of hillbillies up in Appalachia, it's like,
yeah,
you can't let anybody get by with anything. Like when I was a little kid, I don't do it anymore because I'm grown and I've been in the Army and I learned, but there was a time in my life that any mention of any female in my family, negative or otherwise, was going to be throwing hands.
Yeah, you're going to get an ass whooping.
That was just the way it was. If somebody said something about your sister, your mom, your grandma, your aunt, if it was a lady in your family and somebody talked shit, it was just on right from the start. But now it's like I'll make mom jokes with people because now I realize that it's not a big deal,
Like there's a difference. If someone's just messing with you and like you're friends with them, that's different. But if someone is genuinely insulting your mother, like that shit can't stand. So you're getting punched every once in a while is kind of invigorating, but it's obviously if it's happening to you all the time, that's different. That's obviously like there's a difference between like boys hazing you to toughen you up a bit, like a shit test. And if you pass the shit test, it stops. But if it never stops, that's entirely different. That's when it's becoming a problem.
See, that's why you're European and you guys lose everything.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, all we did is brawl. It was like every day.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm absolutely an anomaly. Most of the people,
like the second grade on up in the high school.
I'm just saying I
guess in the 11th and 12th grade, we kind of teetered off the fighting so much. But every year between those years, it was like full on all the time.
I'm saying I'm an anomaly in this. Like I know for a fact that I may not have seen it, but it's just kind of the thing, where a lot of the teenagers from like 13 to like 16 in my school and elsewhere just got into fights all the time. Like the kids just fought all. Yeah, I just was sheltered. I was told to avoid that shit like at all
And
costs.
then you would end up being friends with the guy you fought.
Yeah, and honestly, if I had stood up for myself, I would have been a better person for it, but I didn't. And for like the next 10 years, I was this weak person, and it did me no good. And I do not, if I ever have kids, I do not want that for them ever.
Yep.
And now, if someone is like
That's how I met
terrorizing my
best
son,
friend.
that's
The one I
different.
talk about all the time.
Yeah.
We met fighting each other.
But if say some kid, even after he was like trying to kill or seriously hurt my son, then that's different. I would then probably, I don't know, challenge his dad to a fight in front of his kid and then beat the shit out of the father.
Well, that's one thing we never did, and that's
Mm.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't let them know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just have a bit more.
They
honor
know they're
than
fighting when you punch them in the head.
that.
That's when they know.
Yeah.
I mean, if they done something like that, yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh, hey,
Yeah. No.
let's
No,
play
no.
some honorable rules here. No.
Oh no. Yeah. No. I'm just like saying, give them a warning, and then if they laugh at me, then I'll just beat the shit out of them. So.
Yeah, because we fought so much, it was like you learned how to coexist within the group. Are you ready?
An armed society is a polite society.
Yep. I just,
Really?
I say this so many times, but I think it not only should be allowed, but it should be mandatory that every citizen in every nation be armed and dangerous.
And fight
Every
nonstop.
single one of them. But it ain't
Even the
never going
French.
to happen. I'm just saying, if every country had a Second Amendment, they'd be guaranteed to have a First Amendment.
Yeah, well, these people keep making governments even after ours, and it's not doing it.
Nope.
So
I would love.
That's one thing about Texas. Texas is one of the states that is a mutual combat state, which
Right.
means if both parties agree to fight, it's on.
Yeah,
The only
would
thing
love-
is one, no weapons,
Mhm.
and two, when the other person goes down, you stop.
You got to stop.
What I'd love if Ireland, like, because there is a martial art of stick fighting. I would love if arguments
the
were settled
shillelagh.
with yeah, pretty much with stick fighting. Just like we gridlocked. Everyone says, okay, well, the veto hasn't worked. The gridlocking isn't working. Get out the sticks and beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, in ancient days, stick fighters would travel around and fight for the entertainment of
Mhm.
the local nobles or whatever.
And it would keep a tradition alive. That's the thing.
Nothing like getting clocked upside the head with a piece of
Ashwood.
oak with a brass knob on the top to
Mhm.
to
really,
make you
really
make
make
you
you
question
think.
your life decisions.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like-
I've got this book that came out like 30 years ago or something
Mhm.
for third edition D&D, and
Yeah.
it was written by a second company, but it's a source book for playing in Ireland
Right.
with third edition rules. And the Irish stick fighter is a class you can play.
Nice. Honestly, I actually like I said, I think I take up Muay Thai and Judo next year, but I actually would like to take up Irish stick fighting as well, just for the heritage
Just for
of
the
it.
culture of it.
Yep. I
Well,
also want to learn
Muay Thai
Irish.
is definitely a badass
Oh yeah, no.
martial art.
Yeah, I think Judo just for the grip, the grappling and the throwing would be very useful, and Muay
Yeah.
Thai for the offense.
Well, yeah, somebody tries to do something and you just kick the
Clock.
shit out of their
Yeah,
leg.
you just kick them straight into the knee, and then you just strike them in the diaphragm. That's gonna mess them up.
Yeah, you just freaking.
Because it's not like traditional boxing where it's more, fair and honorable and the gentleman sports. Like, no, this is a self-defense thing. And
I've seen a ultimate fight competition thing where a Muay Thai guy kicked his opponent in the leg so much that his opponent tapped out.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like
You
he just
keep
kept kicking him in the thigh. Like every time the guy would come close, this dude would just land this vicious kick right to this guy's thigh. And eventually
And-
it caused so much damage to his thigh muscle that dude was like,
I'm done. I
I'm
mean,
done.
I know
know.
someone who's younger than me that works in the same retail place I do, and he told me that yeah, you should hit like just use your shin bone when if you are taking up, use your shin. And it's like
Yeah,
but
that's
and I
what
said,
they
won't that
do.
hurt? But not if you hit like the big muscly areas like the thigh and the calf.
Well,
That
if you ever see them guys training, they rub that liniment on their legs and then they kick a post with their shin.
oh
I mean, they toughen it up.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I
It's
mean
kind of like how the kung fu guys would put that stuff on their hands and then punch gravel
or they like do it on their knuckles and just start punching
Yeah.
wooden boards. Yeah, it's just to
because
toughen.
they're trying to build up. I
It's
guess they're
callous.
killing all the nerves in there,
It's
so they don't feel it.
it's callousing up the striking
Then
area.
they wonder whenever they get older, their hands look like this.
Yeah.
Right? They're all clawed up. But anyway, guys, my wife
Yep.
just told me I gotta get off of here and get my shit in gear
Yeah, I gotta go anyway. so-
because apparently my
Yeah, it's
brother
getting time for
is
me to have
going
to
to
go
drive
too.
straight through, so they're probably going to be here tonight.
Right. Well, you enjoy yourself, James. Yeah, and if I don't see you between now and then, Merry Christmas.
I'll be mopping.
They say Merry Christmas, man. Yeah,
Merry Christmas, man.
and Merry Christmas
Oh,
to you too. Mario.
Dark Knight. Dark
Mhm.
Knight.
I'm sure you'll see me.
If you're
before then.
willing, I'll work with you and I'll give you I'll try and give you a better representation of palladium wrist.
I'd be down for that at some point. I'll give it a try in the
Yeah.
new year. Yeah. So we'll talk
There
about
you
it.
go.
Talk to you later, guys. Bye,
See you
everyone.
later.
Bye bye.